everyone, and welcome back to the ChromaticKnits podcast. My name is Michelle, and this is my place on the internet where I talk about all of my yarny adventures. You can find me on Ravelry as ChromaticKnits, and you can find me on Instagram as Chromatic_knits. I'm so glad to be back. Thank you so much for those for returning, and welcome anyone who's new. I've noticed that I have had a few more viewers recently, so I'm not sure where you came from, but I'm so glad that you're here. So feel free to join in the comments down below. I'd love to hear all about you. So some things that are going on. The weather is crazy, right? It can't figure out if it's spring or if it's winter or if it's summer yet. So we've had 75 degrees, we've had 45 degrees, we've had somewhere in between. And my cat is getting very upset because we open the windows when it's nice and then we close them when it's cold or when it's raining. And he'll just sit downstairs and scream. You think that he's in pain or something is happening, but he's like, my window is closed. He's just very upset because he's a dramatic princess, and that's okay. But sometimes you just can't do it, bud. What else? My hair is happening like this today. The amount of bobby pins that I would need to deal with these little baby hairs that are everywhere would be enough to give me a migraine. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to let it roll the way it is. And yes, I know that I look like a George Washington wig, but I don't care. So you all know what I'm talking about. It's that time of year again where you get the little hairs growing back in. They're just long enough that they stick out, but not long enough that they reach the bobby pin. So we're just going to roll with it. So today I have some knitting, some finished objects to show you, some works in progress, and talk about some acquisitions, some things I'm planning on knitting, and some things that are coming up. So let's get in. Feel free to grab your own knitting if you're working on that, your crochet, your laundry, whatever it is that you're working on, or maybe just a nice snack or a tea would be lovely. Today is being powered, not sponsored, by my Diet Dr. Pepper, my drink of choice. So feel free to grab your drink of choice and let's dive in. So first of all, I feel like there should be a trumpet fanfare because my first FO is The Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart. 'Tis done. I was here. I was there last time where my little hedgehog is, and I finished the purples. So it is done. I love it. I love the colors. This kit from A Homespun House is fantastic. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. I don't think she has any more in the shop though. And I don't know that she's planning on putting any more in the shop, but any, advent that you have would work, or any, if you just have minis lying around, that would also work, or just scraps, if you had yarn scraps. This is 90% garter stitch, so it's super easy, just with a little bit of increases, and then there's just an eyelet row, and that's it. That's the whole pattern. So if that is your jam, then definitely look this up, and you can make it any size you want. You can customize it because it gives you percentages. It tells you when you're this percentage, then start doing this kind of thing. So if you know how much yarn you're going to be using, or know, if you know how big you want it and how much yarn you're going to need to get there, then just, keep knitting until you get to the point where you're like, okay, that's big enough, and then just start decreasing. Just like a dishcloth, right? So so this is going to be done. This is a Christmas gift for my niece, so this will be going to her in December. So that it's done. One Christmas gift off of my list is exciting. Okay, what else? So other finished objects. So I've been watching Kay the Crazy Sock Lady, and she is a dishcloth wizard. I don't know if you've ever seen her podcast, but she is constantly knitting dishcloth. She does it when she's on the treadmill, which okay, I don't know about you, but when I'm walking, The only thing else that I can be doing is either talking or be on my phone. Like, if I have to think about increasing and decreasing and knitting and like, I'll just stop walking. Like, I would be that person to just fall off the back of the treadmill. Like, that 100% would be me, because my brain is like, no, we cannot do the things at the same, like, no, we can't do it. So, plus, I'd have to be listening to something like, no. um, but anyway, so she does that. I do have a I don't know if that stopped that, but I just got a call. But so I have a couple of dishcloths done of this one, and I have one other one. These are both done in Dishy by Knit Picks. I don't know the colorway because I lost the ball band a while ago, and I've been seeing a lot of these. So this is Grandma's favorite dishcloth pattern on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, you can just look it up. Super simple, just increases, and then when you think it's wide enough, you start decreasing. Like, that's the plan. And then you just do a little border with just a yarn over. Like, no big deal. I know some people make their dishcloths smaller, but I know, like, I personally, when I'm cleaning, I always fold my dishcloth. Like, I always fold my dishcloth, my paper towel, whatever it is that I'm using. And I really like using dishcloths because they're reusable, which is better for the environment, instead of using all that paper and then just chucking it in the trash. So, but yeah, so like you clean with one side and then it gets a little smuts on it, like it's a little dirty. So you like flip it over and use the other side that's clean. But that's just me. Like, that's just how I do it. Like, some people make these smaller so that they only use like one, like the sides. They don't have the option of folding it or using the inside or the outside, different things like that. But what is your preference? Like, let me know down in the comments, because I really want to know. Because I know some people make them smaller and they make more of them, and then they're like, I made 20,000 dishcloths. Which, side note, like, I don't know if you watched the Crazy Sock Lady, but she was like, yeah, I've used like 20 something skeins of yarn this year. And I was like, excuse me? Like, what? Like, even though she's doing dishcloths, which is worsted weight, which is going to be more yarn going faster, right? But still, like, when do you sleep? Like, she makes socks mostly and dishcloths mostly. Like, I don't understand. Do you just have people sleep for you? Like, I don't know. Like, do you not eat? Like, how? Teach me your magic. Teach me your magic. Anyway. But yeah. She said that and I was like, it just blew my mind. Like, complete just explosion. Anyway, so that's done. And the last 2 weeks, I've finished a mitten. I finished mitten number 11 of my mitten advent calendar. I've talked about this like forever. So I have another one done. This one is for me, which is exciting, because the first one I made was for my partner. This one's going to be for me, and then after that I have a third one to make for our friend. So one more done. Only 14 more to go on this one, and then 25 more to go on the next one. But we're making progress, right? Little by little. Again, Knit Picks palette. First of all, I love Harry Potter, and if anybody didn't know that, Marauder's Map all the way. But yeah, Knit Picks palette, which is the suggested yarn, and it's cheap. But yeah, you probably do just as much knitting as a normal mitten because it's so thin. The yarn is so thin, and you're doing color work, so it takes about as much time as like a normal mitten would take. But it'll be worth it at the end. They'll last forever, and then we will be able to pass them on to whoever gets all of our stuff when we die. Who knows who that will be? Goodwill, family, who knows? But hope they're a knitter, because I got a whole lot of yarn. So anyway, Which, side note, like, so we've had all those new viewers, and I told my partner that, and the first thing she said, she's like, oh, maybe now you'll get the attention of a yarn company, and they'll send you even more yarn. And she just looked at me like, because she knows, like, I'm already beyond life expectancy pretty much at this point. So she's just like, I'm like, yep. I'm like, maybe they will. You don't know. Bring it on. Okay, so that is all of the FOs that I have, but I do have some whips. I've worked on a bunch of things this week. So one of the things I've worked on is my Cozy Memories blanket. It's called the Coziest Memory Blanket by Kemper Ray. This is the front, actually. So before I'd only knit these 3 in the bottom. I added this one here, which this is by Bumblebee Acres. This is their Inverness colorway, which is part of their, oh no, what is the name of that show? The one with the Scottish people versus the English people. You know what I'm talking about. Outlander, that's what it is. So this is part of their Outlander colorway set. That's interesting. Anyway, so yeah, this is their Outlander set. Their Inverness colorway, and then I've started on a second one. I'm only a couple rows in, and this is so I made a hat for my brother-in-law. He is a huge Broncos fan, so I found some Broncos yarn and knit him a hat, and then I had a whole bunch left. And yes, I have yarn barf, it's fine. So I'm making a square out of that, and then, you know, I'll find something else to do with the rest of that. But this is still coming along. My goal is to make at least 1 square every time I show it on here, just so that I'm continuing to make progress on it, even if it's not my priority project for that particular 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes, but that's my current goal. Next, I worked on my Kala tee. This is a pattern by Pippin Pin. Let's see. I have it here. So I'm using Gloss Fingering, which is by Knit Picks in the Plume colorway. And check out this progress keeper. It's a narwhal. Oh my god, I love it so much. It is from Charmed and Dangerous. If you've never heard of her shop, her thing is narwhals. So like pretty much every update that she has a narwhal in it, and they go like so fast. Like you go in, you try to add it to cart, and by the time you go to check out, it's like something in your cart is no longer available. Like they're gone so fast. So you have to be on it like when the update happens. And even then, like your chances of getting it are like 50-50. So, but anyway, I got this one, which I was super excited about. And yeah, so I've gotten a couple inches done. So from there to there, so probably like 3-4 inches done on it. Still working on this. Going to continue working on this. Hopefully get it done here in the next month or so. But this was not my priority. My priority was to finish the blanket and then finish the mitten and just try and get some things done. So, but it's still coming along, still working on it. Again, you know, all progress is good progress, right? Because like, as some of you know, as I've brought up before, I have ADHD, which means that I cannot work on one project for too long. Otherwise I get this like itchy feeling in my brain that's like, we cannot do it anymore. We have to do something else. So bouncing around between all these projects helps my brain process and keeps me interested and keeps me excited about what I'm doing instead of like forcing myself to do something that I don't want to do. Which is never what I want to do with my knitting, because I always want to enjoy it. So, and it's something that helps me manage my ADHD and something that helps me manage my stress. So, always be kind to yourself when you're knitting. And then my largest whip that I've been working on is my slip extravaganza blanket. Still working on it, just trying to make, again, a little bit of progress every 2 weeks. And what I've done is there was only one of these. There was just the one white stripe. And now there's two with the next black stripe. So that is what I've done. I've added to the border. So there was only like one row of this white there. And then so I added the second row, 2 rows of the black, 2 rows of the white, and then 1 row. And then I'm working on the second row of the black right now. So working on that border, getting that done. So I have to finish this section, and then I think there's like 2 or 3 more sections, and then the whole blanket will be done. So just hoping to continue just, you know, doing a little bit of progress while I can before it gets too hot to work on this, because again, it's a huge project and it's a blanket, so I don't want to be covered in wool when it's 1,000 degrees outside, but I do want this done before next winter. So still making progress on that. If you haven't seen that before, it's base. So Stephen West took a bunch of his MCAL shawls and turned them into blankets. So the slip extravaganza was his 2019, 2020 MCAL. Is that what it was? Wait, hold on. 2023. So last year was that, and the year before that was Chromatic. So that was 2021. Yeah, it would have been 2020 was slip extravaganza. So yeah, so he's made that one into a shawl. He's made a few other ones into shawls, or into blankets rather. The shawls into blankets. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. It's really cool. Check out Westknits on Ravelry or on his website. You can find any of his patterns there. Stephen West has some of the coolest stuff, I swear. And I'm going to be knitting another one of his patterns, actually another one of his blankets this summer for my other niece. So that'll be coming along. That is all of the knitting that I have done, but I think it's a lot. It's been a lot of knitting the past 2 weeks, a lot of projects, some things done, some things worked on, you know. All progress is good progress, and all things that have been made and done are also good. So yeah, very excited to have some things off the needles, but now I just want to cast all the things on. But I have so many things that I want to make that I can't decide what I want to cast on. Does that ever happen to you? Do you just like, I want to cast something on, I have free needles now? Because especially after I finish the habitation throw, but I'm like, but what do I want to work on? Like, what do I want to cast on? What am I going to want to make? What do I want to continue working on in a month? Like, don't know. So I'm just kind of stuck. So if you have any inspiration or any ideas or things that you're working on, please share them down in the comments. I would love to hear from you and see what things are inspiring you in your knitting. Now, last but not least, I do have some yarn that has come into the stash over the past few weeks. First of all, I made a pre-order a few months ago. So I think it was like last October, September, something like that. Lola Bean Yarn Co. had this thing called Lollapalooza where she put up like 50 or 60 colorways, and you could order as much of them as you wanted and as many colorways as you wanted. And then she was going to send them out beginning of this year. So I got my yarn. So I'll show you what I got. I got 3 skeins of, let's see, Thunder and Lightning in fingering weight, which is this gray with bright pops of pink and greens, and loving that. And then this green here is her Pinto Bean, which is her DK weight. This is 100% Superwash Merino and Give Peas a Chance colorway. So this I got so that I can make a Jamie shawl by Cozy Up Knits. And then this, I've just always really wanted this color, but they've always been sold out of it. And I'm like, no. So now I finally have it for myself, which is exciting. So that came in. And then I had a birthday. So for my birthday, I wanted so Frankie Gray Fibers has well, I don't know if they still have it in their shop, but they had a set of 10 50-gram minis of essentially just a bunch of different colors to do stripes to make a stripy sweater. So it was 5 skeins worth of yarn basically, because you have 10 50-gram minis. It's 500 grams. So oh my gosh, but check out these colors, you guys. Like, look how bright they are. Love that. So, and these are DK. So this is DK weight, 50-gram minis. But we put a nice little note in there with all the colorways and everything. Love this. So I have a couple ideas of things that I want to make with this. But if you have any ideas, please let me know. And then with all of these colors going on, I have also wanted to participate in, so Cozy Up Knits is having a multicolor make along where basically you can crochet or you can knit. I don't know about sewing, you'd have to ask. But it's on their Patreon, which I'm a member of, and it's any project that uses multiple colors. You can use whips, and you don't have to finish it during the make along. But you can enter with anything. So I'm thinking of entering with my Coziest Memories blanket, and you don't have to start it. You can start it before the start date, which is June 1st. So I'm thinking of joining that. And then I'm also thinking of, so I've never made myself a pair of socks. And I really, really want to. And I have signed up for, but haven't actually watched the videos for the Perfect Fit Sock class by Natalie of Knitty Natty. So I'm thinking the month of May would be the perfect time to knit myself a pair of socks. So I'm going to use that class, make my my socks along with the class videos, and have a pair of socks by the end of the month, because the grocery girls do this. They have a sock knit along that they do every month, where you, as long as you start on the first of the month and you make your sock during the month, and finish it during the month, you can enter it to win prizes every month. And then if you do that every month, then at the end of the year, they have like a drawing for prizes at the end of the year for people who did it every month. Now it's too late for me to do that because it's May almost. So too late, right? I didn't do the first 4 months, but here we are. But yeah, so I'm thinking about making a pair of socks for myself. So now I just need to figure out what yarn I want to use. Maybe a self-striping would be fun. I've made one pair of self-striping socks for my partner, but I've never made socks for myself. So I'm gonna have to go stash diving and see what I want to make, what I want to use, what's calling to me. So that is what's coming up. And then as far as what went into and what's coming out of the stash, so I had the 6 skeins of Lula Bean Yarn Co., which is 600 grams, the 500 grams of the 10 50-gram minis of Frankie Gray Fibers, so that's 1,100 grams. And then I rehomed 3 skeins, so that's 300 grams out of stash. For the dishcloths, I used 68.14 grams. The habitation throw, I used 18.08 grams to finish it. The Coziest Memories, so far I've used 5.2 grams. The Kala-Tea, I used 20.26 grams. The Advent Mitten was 6.9 grams. And the Slipstravaganza blanket was 28.3 grams, bringing it to a grand total of 446.88 grams, either knit or rehomed, or just generally out of the stash, over the last 2 weeks, which leaves me at a negative 653.12 grams. So that's okay. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that yarn was coming. There are more pre-orders coming eventually this year, but again, I have not purchased any yarn since my yarn buying ban has started. Now that will be changing, because I do plan on purchasing a couple of skeins for a gift knit, for a family member, but otherwise, that is it. So, and the knit pick sale this summer. Otherwise, I haven't purchased any yarn, which is exciting, and my bank account is very excited about that. Very excited about that. But it's all going to my dog's vet. So, she's fine. Like, she's fine. She just needs her shots and her annual checkup, and yeah, she's fine though. But yeah, it's just like stuff like that. You're just like, I finally saved money and didn't buy yarn, and now I have to spend it on this. Like, you're just like, no. Yes, I am Italian, in case you were wondering. The Italian genes are strong. But anyway, so that is everything I have for you this week. I wish you the best of luck with all of your knitting adventures. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope that you have a wonderful 2 weeks. Please let me know if you're doing anything fun. I'm just going to be hanging out here, mostly knitting and watching some shows. Recently, I've started watching Jessica Jones, which is an older show. It's been out for a few years. It's on Disney Plus. If you're a Marvel fan, you'll like it. It's not meant for kids, just as a heads up, because there's like adult content, let's say, in that show. But it's really good so far. I'm like 4, 5 episodes, something like that, into the season. But it's really good. Would recommend. Some other things I've been watching. I've been watching Alice in Wonderland again, the movies, because I've watched them both with, well, the two with Johnny Depp that Tim Burton produced. So I really like them. I just haven't seen them in a while, and was like, I really just want to have a kind of a mini movie marathon. Because that's my thing. I just pick a theme, and then I just watch movies that are in that theme that day, and just knit and relax, or just have it playing on my phone and just listen to it through my headphones while I'm cleaning or doing other things around the house. So really enjoying that. Is that something that anybody else does, or is that just me? I'm always like, I don't know what to watch, and then I just start scrolling, and I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just stick with movies like that today. Kind of thing. Like, we're just gonna watch Tim Burton movies. We're just gonna watch Alice in Wonderland. Today is Jessica Jones. Just binge watching that. And I'm sure I'll come up with something else, maybe superhero themed, to watch later. But yeah, if you know of any good shows, I would love to hear them. That was actually one of my gifts from one of my friends for my birthday. She's in grad school, and she's like, sorry, I'm on a grad school budget. And I'm like, that's totally fine. Like, I don't need gifts. That's fine. And she gave me a whole list of shows to check out that she really likes. So I'm definitely going to be looking those up. But definitely always looking for recommendations. So if you have any, please leave them down below. Or you can message me on Instagram. Always love seeing those. What else? Other than that, that is it for me. I'm just hanging out most of the time, and just gonna keep working on my projects, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Alright, everyone, happy knitting.